Mazanendaba from Stories of Africa by Gcina Mhlope. Mazanendaba. A long time ago, so long ago that it is not important to remember exactly when. People lived in small little villages all around the world. In one such village, there was a woman called Mazanendaba. She lived in a beautiful house by the sea with her husband and children. Mazanendaba loved her family very much. She taught her children skills like cooking and fetching water, collecting firewood and weaving grass mats and baskets. But most of all, what they enjoyed was to go swimming. They would go down to the beach and splash about in the waves and have a good time chasing each other. Sometimes they would catch a fish or two for lunch before coming back home to be with their father. The father's name was Zenzele, a tall, strong man who made sculptures. If he saw a bird that he liked, he would keep its image fresh in his mind and then carve it out of wood and put it in the house, where they could all admire it. He would see a springbok or a kudu drinking from a waterhole, then rush home and carve it out of stone. Zenzele loved his work. As the years went by, his many beautiful stone and wood carvings came to decorate the inside and the outside of the house. For a while, Mazanendaba was happy with things the way they were. But presently, she realized that something was missing in their lives. You see, there were no stories at that time. People used to sit around the fire after supper and watch the stars grow to thousands and millions in the night sky. Sometimes they would watch the moon rising or listen to the wind howling and wonder if it was trying to tell them a little story. But no, they would yawn and yawn till they fell asleep without even a dream. Can you imagine? The whole world without any stories or dreams. It was terrible. Mothers and grandmothers tried hard to find a story or two for their little ones, but there was none. One day, Zenzele told his wife that she should go out into the forests and plains nearby, and that maybe there she would meet animals who knew some stories. With a heart full of hope, Mazanendaba set off on her search. The first animal she met was the hare, who was a trickster even back then. He smiled his toothy smile and said, "I know lots of stories. For instance, I could tell you a story about I'm in such a hurry. Next time I'll see you, I'll tell you." Liar. Hare did not know any stories. Then she met a big mother baboon who stood clumsily in front of Mazanendaba and said, "Ha! What are you saying? Are you telling me that human children are more problematic than our children? You give them a house to stay in, clothes to wear and food to eat, and on top of that, they still want stories. Hi, I'm lucky I'm not a human mother." Next, Mazanendaba met a mamba snake. Mamba was very shy. "I don't even know what a story is," she whispered in a hoarse voice and disappeared into the green grass. The owl was very cross with Mazanendaba. You know, I sleep in the daytime. Where do you think we get stories from? Please, woman, leave me alone. Woo-hoo. And he went back to sleep. Mazanendaba was beginning to lose hope when she met a large grey elephant who smiled and said, I do not know any stories myself, but I suggest you go and ask the eagle. Eagles are the ones who fly up highest, and they are the ones who dare to look at the sun. Maybe they know some stories. Thanking the elephant, the woman went back home and rested for the day. The next morning, she was sitting in front of her house when she saw a fish eagle who had just caught a fish. She ran down to the beach shouting, Hey, eagle, please do not fly away. I need to talk to you. The eagle was so startled that he dropped his fish. With angry eyes, he stared at Mazanendaba and said, You have made me drop my lunch, woman. I know. Please forgive me, but I badly need your help, said Mazanendaba. What could I possibly help you with? Demanded the eagle. You see, I need stories for my children. I have looked everywhere, and elephants said you are the only one who can help me. Please, even one story from your family would help. Oh, wise eagle, she said. As soon as he heard wise eagle, he smiled a big smile and said, How very kind of you to call me wise eagle. Well, my friend Dolphin tells me there are no stories here in the world. They are all kept in an underwater kingdom below the ocean. That is where the spirit king and queen live with the spirit people. Dolphin can take you there anytime you want. Mazanendaba was so excited. She wanted to throw herself into the rough sea right there and then. But Eagle said, Wait, don't do that. You don't even know which dolphin I'm talking about. Wise Eagle flew away. Much later, he came back and landed in front of the woman saying, Look, over there, and tell me who you see. Oh, Sawubona, dolphin, greeted the woman excitedly. To her left, she saw a friendly-looking dolphin who was eyeing her with great interest. Mazanendaba was very impressed by that kind of friendly face, which looked like the face of someone who had been to all kinds of secret and magical places. Dolphin smiled and told her to climb on his back so that they could go to the underwater kingdom while it was still daylight. The woman did as he said. She held on tightly to the large fin, and under a big wave they went. Bloop, bloop, bloop. All the way down to the bottom of the ocean. They arrived at the place of amazing beauty. It was filled with brilliant light. Even though there was no sun and no moon, Mazanendaba looked at the eyes of the spirit people and saw that the light was coming from them. They all had eyes like stars, and their faces and bodies were very beautiful, with colors like green, purple, orange, yellow, blue, and many others. They welcomed her to their home, and as they spoke, it was as if wonderful music suddenly filled the whole place. Mazanendaba closed her eyes and listened to the beautiful sound of their musical voices. Dolphin had to laugh when he saw how impressed she was. Then Mazanendaba was taken to meet the spirit king and queen. She sat respectfully in front of them and asked them for stories. We can give you all the stories your heart desires, but what will you bring for us from your home in return? Asked the Spirit King. Mazanendaba could not think of anything, nothing that seemed good enough for a Spirit King and Queen. Then the Spirit Queen smiled and said, "It would please us most if you could bring us a picture of your home, yourself, your husband, and children." "We cannot come up to visit you where you live, but we would like to know where these stories are going to." Mazanendaba did not waste any more time. She climbed on the dolphin's back and up they went through the water and back to the beach. Zenzele, her husband, was waiting there with the children, not knowing when Mazanendaba would return. She said goodbye to the dolphin and arranged to meet again after 3 days at sunrise. Then she sat with her family and told them everything she had seen and heard in the underwater kingdom. Most importantly, she told them about the picture the Spirit Queen had asked for. Zenzele knew exactly what to do. The next morning he took a big flat piece of wood and started to carve the picture of their house. Then he carved the face of his wife, and this he enjoyed a lot. He added in his own face, then those of the children. The naughty boy with the smiling eyes, the little girl with the lovely smile, the tall boy with the long legs, all of them. When he thought he had finished, guess who came to help? Eagle. He also wanted to be in the picture, so Zenzele carved him in as well, just above the house. On the third morning at sunrise, Zenzele took the picture carving, put it on his wife's back, and tied it tightly with a leather strap. Then Mazanendaba went down to the beach where the dolphin was already waiting. She climbed all the way. She climbed onto his back, and under a big wave they went, bloop, 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 all the way down to the bottom of the ocean. The spirit people were overjoyed with the picture carving. They all crowded around for a closer look, lighting up the carving with their star-like eyes and making musical praises with their melodious voices. The king and queen were very pleased indeed. They handed Mazanendaba a necklace made of tiny shells as a thank you present to her husband for all his hard work. Then they gave her a big, pink, shiny and magical looking shell. They told her that it contained countless stories. Hundreds and thousands of stories were kept inside that shell. So many that each time she listened to the shell, she would hear a new story. Every single time Mazanendaba thanked them from the bottom of her heart. She said goodbye and holding the magical story shell lovingly to her chest, she let Dolphin take her back to the beach, where her family was waiting anxiously for her return. But they were not the only people waiting for her. All the people of their village, as well as from other villages near and far, had come to welcome her back and hear some of the stories she had brought with her. Mamba Snake was there too, and so were her, Owl, Mother Baboon, and her children, Elephant and Wise Eagle. It was late afternoon, and the colors of the sunset glowed brilliantly in the western sky. The large crowd sat down on the beach and waited for Mazanendaba to tell them a story. She picked up the magical story shell, put it to her ear and listened for a few seconds. Then she said, "Kwasuke sukela," which means it happened a long time ago. "Kosi," everyone replied, meaning we are ready to listen. And so the first story in the world was told. When Mazanendaba had finished, the listeners all begged, "Another one, please." And so she told them story after story. Every sunset from then on, it was story time. And those stories went from village to village, from country to country, to all the continents of the world, until my grandmother heard some of those stories, and I am sharing them with you. Tos tos yaphela. Here I rest my story.